I'm gonna teach you a little, but you're gonna learn a lot. Who you surround yourself with can supercharge you. And you have to be very, very, very careful with how you use and how you spend your time. Because believe it or not, we're all chasing wealth, right? We're all chasing some kind of higher purpose. We're all chasing something, whatever that is for you. But if you don't have the right people in your corner to get the thing that you want, you're gonna get left behind and you're gonna fall short of your goals. And you can't read this in a textbook, you can't read this in a book, you have to go and experience it firsthand. If you could learn how to step outside of your feelings, if you could learn how to observe yourself outside of yourself, if you can be mindful about the way you approach situations, you're gonna start to play a different game. You're gonna start to see things in 3D. And then you're gonna get curious about what else you can do because now you've seen the potential of what's possible. It doesn't really matter how you start, it's how you finish. Because experience isn't what happens to you, it's what you do with it. So what are you gonna do with the experience that you acquire here? Are you gonna get curious about the information that you're learning? Because you're gonna learn in some of the harsh truths that I'm gonna share today. When you stop learning, you stop living. If you don't get curious about anything outside of this classroom or what you're learning in school, or you think that the second you earn your degree from here or the next institution that you're done learning, you're wrong. You never stop learning. And so through my experience, I've come up with this system, the Inspired Action System, based on 3 key pillars: perspective, presence, and control. So how do you get to know who you are? Perspective is about the way that you see the world. Now, why is this important? Because perspective is based on how you're going to visualize your future. When you have intentional focus, when you have the conscious objective to focus on the thing that you want, the job, the girl, the guy, the house, the vision that you want, when you set intentional focus in your life, singular focus, when you have that conscious objective in the back of your mind and you bring it to the front of your mind, you're unstoppable. But you have to establish it. And the key is it has to align with your values based on the standards that you set, which are clear because you visualized who you want to be. And now every day you just aim towards that thing. I want to get an A in Professor Williams' class. I'm setting the conscious objective to go do that right now. And I'm going to make sure that I do all the necessary work. Suddenly, when you have a conscious objective in your life, you know exactly what to do. The roadmap's right there in front of you. You understand, all right, I know I gotta study. I know I gotta go through the syllabus. I know I gotta break it down to index cards. I know I'm gonna go through every single chapter. I know all the key words that I'm gonna have to understand. I'm gonna review it 3 times. Wow, oh my God, no one even needed to tell you what to do. All of a sudden, you had a conscious objective and intent, and now you know exactly what to do. The roadmap is subconscious to us because we get curious about what we want to do. But opportunity is what you create. Opportunity is what you do. Opportunity is on you. And so here's 5 harsh truths that I stand by. Balance is a lie. I've sat down with people who've made millions of dollars, venture capitalists. Everyone's chasing balance. And it's an absolute lie. The answer is actually fulfillment. The answer is actually understanding that if you want the thing you say you want, you're going to have to over-index. You're going to have to accept that you're going to sacrifice some things in order to achieve what you want. You're responsible for your life. I would love to blame a whole bunch of people for why I slowed down in certain areas of my life, but I can't. It's on me. And the sooner you embrace extreme ownership, the sooner you embrace that anything that doesn't go right in your life is your fault, and I mean everything, all the terrible incidents. I have sat down with victims of domestic violence. I've sat down with F-16 pilots, Navy SEALs, best-selling authors. I've sat down with CEOs of multiple companies. I've sat down with some really impressive people. And the bravest ones are the victims of domestic violence that walk into my office with 4 kids, pregnant, telling me that they don't want to go forward on a case where their significant other beat them. There's a reality that comes along with having to meet people from different walks of life. You have to accept that your way is not the only way. And you have to be willing to listen. and you have to be willing to observe, and you have to be curious. And the last harsh truth is that you do not have time. Everyone's gonna tell you, you're 20, relax. Don't worry about it. You got forever. You don't. Light the fire. You don't have time. I believed this for a long time, that I did have time. And I operate every single day with a productivity day. I operate every single day like I'm behind the 8 ball. But if you can understand that you don't have time, but that you can make time, the best sides of who you are exist on the other side of the hardest things you've ever done. I got to know myself 40 miles into a 58-mile run. I got to know myself 700 pull-ups in to 1,018 pull-ups. I got to see the kind of person that I am when I'm standing up in court and a defense attorney is accusing me of having bad character. I got to understand who I am when the judge asks me, Mr. Cohen, do you have a response? I got to understand who I am in moments where I felt performance anxiety. I got to understand who I am in moments where I was sitting for the bar and I pictured every single person that told me I wouldn't get into law school, that I wouldn't get a job at the DA. I remember every single one of those moments. And the only way that you can overcome that voice in your head is if you put yourself in the driver's seat to understand that when you take ownership and inventory and audit your life and you're in control, that's when things start to change. Your life is going to be determined by the stories that you tell yourself. If you tell yourself that you're a person who can't, you won't. If you tell yourself that you're a person who can, you will. And the quality of your life is going to be determined by the kind of questions that you ask yourself. Because the better the question, the better the answer. And so then the question I have for all of you is, what opportunity will you create? Because ultimately, your life is your responsibility. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. Once again, my name is Jonathan Cohen, and this is Inside the Inspired.